Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are embarking on a truly sweeping journey to unpack what is arguably the ultimate philosophical climax of jurisprudence. We're talking about the concept of justice. We're going to explore everything from the ancient perfect cosmic order all the way down to modern economic philosophy. It's going to be a wild ride.
But before we get into the weeds, I want to hook you right away with a pretty profound question. Just think about this for a second. Is justice a destination we finally arrive at, or is it a verb? Is it something we have to constantly practice? As we trace this incredible evolution of justice from a flowing, universal equilibrium right down to the gritty, messy reality of modern human life, I really want you to keep that question lingering in the back of your mind.
Okay, Section 1. Foundations. Scales and wheel.
Imagine walking into a pristine, sharp-angled modern Western courtroom. You see the blindfolded Lady Justice. It feels very absolute, right? Well, let's dive into a foundational split in legal theory. It's the battle between justice according to law and justice of the law. Are we just strictly applying the rules exactly as they're written on the page, essentially treating the law like it's a mathematical science? Or are we zooming out and asking if the rules themselves are actually morally right? This is a massive distinction. It's the difference between blindly following a legal code and having the courage to question the entire underlying validity of the system itself.
And that brings us to justice as a virtue. You see, justice isn't just a set of external, state-imposed rules handed down from a judge's bench. It's an internal moral compass. It's something that we as humans literally have to actively cultivate within ourselves to guide our behavior toward fairness and the common good. It really starts from within.
Now, if you want a perfect illustration of this internal, holistic approach, look at the ancient Indian concept of dharma. Dharma explicitly links justice to societal benefit, to morals, and to ethics. Unlike traditional Western jurisprudence, which honestly often fixates on just atomized individual rights, dharma connects the individual directly to a much larger cosmic and societal order.
So, the absolutely crucial point here is that dharma isn't merely religion, and it isn't just strict law. It's the very foundation of legal ordering. Think of it as the cosmic law that sustains and holds all of society together. It emphasizes our duties to one another and the holistic balance of the universe rather than just what I am owed as an individual. It's literally the wheel that keeps everything in perfect equilibrium.
Moving right along. Section 2. Mechanics of fairness.
So zooming in from the cosmos, how do we actually engineer fairness in the real world? Imagine society functioning like a massive, complex organism. The law generally uses two tools to keep it healthy. First is remedial or corrective justice. Think of this like repairing a broken pot with gold. When someone is wronged, how does the law step in to fix it, restore the balance, and compensate the victim? But then there's the second tool, distributive justice. And wow, this is the incredibly difficult task of figuring out how a society should fairly allocate its resources, its burdens, and its benefits among a highly diverse population. Basically, who gets what piece of the pie?
What's genuinely fascinating is how different systems approach that remedial repair. Indian jurisprudence, for instance, often favors a restorative system. The goal is to restore and reform rather than just dole out a harsh punishment. It's a reformative approach that prioritizes healing the community and maintaining social cohesion over sheer gavel-striking retribution.
Let's get into Section 3, the Great Debate.
Enter philosopher John Rawls and his famous theory of justice as fairness. Rawls essentially plunges us into the ultimate surreal thought experiment. He drops us into what he calls the original position, completely enveloped by a glowing translucent mist he calls the veil of ignorance. Picture a diverse group of people in a vast void. You have to design the rules of society, but you have no idea where you will end up in it once that veil lifts. You don't know if you'll be rich, poor, weak, or strong. Rawls argues that rational people in this specific position would design rules that heavily protect the least advantaged, just in case they end up at the bottom of the ladder.
Building on this, Rawls looks at society through the lens of those different groups, the rich, the poor, the weak, and the strong. Because political liberty is common to all of us, but our individual requirements are completely different, Rawls says the system must be designed so that basic liberties are available on an equal footing for everyone. The whole goal is to effectively minimize the massive gap between the top and the bottom.
But then, that theoretical void violently shatters into a gritty, hyper-individualistic world. This is the aggressive counterpunch from philosopher Robert Nozick and his entitlement theory. He drops a bomb with this idea. Forced redistribution of wealth is akin to forced labor. Nozick is arguing for pure liberty here.
His stance is radical. If you acquire your property justly, it is absolutely yours. Full stop. To him, the state taxing you to give to someone else isn't justice at all. It's a fundamental violation of your individual freedom.
So here we have a true heavyweight philosophical boxing match. In one corner, you've got Rawls, arguing that true fairness absolutely requires a social safety net and rules specifically designed to protect the vulnerable. In the other corner, you have Nozick, arguing that true justice means pure liberty and absolute property rights, with zero state interference. It is the eternal, foundational tension between equality and freedom.
Which brings us to Section 4, the human turn. Now we're going to shift completely away from abstract thought experiments. Let's step out into the vibrant, messy, bustling markets of the real world. This shift is led by Amartya Sen's monumental work, The Idea of Justice. Sen looks at thinkers like Rawls and critiques them for being utterly obsessed with designing perfect institutions, something he calls transcendental institutionalism. He makes a vital distinction for us, niti versus nyaya. Niti means the strict rules and institutional plans. But nyaya, that represents actual lived justice. Sen argues we shouldn't just be sitting around theorizing about perfect rules. Our realization-focused approach should be about reducing actual lived injustice in the world right now.
And Sen illustrates this brilliantly with his famous flute story. Imagine 3 children fighting over a single flute. One child literally made the flute with their own hands. One child is the only one who actually knows how to play it. The third child is extremely poor and has absolutely nothing else to play with. So, who gets it? The rulebook gives you totally different answers depending on your ideology. But Sen argues justice is about looking at human capabilities and actual needs, not just blindly applying a rigid formula.
Building directly on that real-world foundation is Martha Nussbaum. She expands this human-centric view into what is widely known as the capabilities approach. Nussbaum argues powerfully that justice isn't just about handing people money or giving them a theoretical list of rights on a piece of paper. It's about ensuring they have the actual, practical capability to live a life worthy of human dignity.
To make this concrete, Nussbaum identifies a core list of human capabilities required for basic dignity. We're talking about bodily integrity, practical reason, affiliation with others, health, control over your own environment. The absolutely crucial point here is that if a society claims to be just, but its citizens do not functionally possess these capabilities in their messy daily reality, then the law has fundamentally failed. Justice absolutely must exist in practice, not just in theory.
And finally, Section 5, the unfinished masterpiece.
Picture a fast-paced montage in your mind's eye, intercutting that spinning wheel of dharma, the falling veil of ignorance, and human hands lifting each other up. We return to the very premise we started with. Justice is not a destination, justice is a verb. The modern critical perspectives we've explored today show us that the law is a profoundly human enterprise. It's flawed, it's totally messy, but it is also an eternal, ongoing attempt by humanity to balance the scales, to honor our duties to one another, and to ensure dignity for all. It's not something we achieve once and for all, it's something we have to literally do every single day.
So, as we pull back to view the Earth from space, knowing that justice is a constant action, I'll leave you with this. What is your duty in this ongoing, eternal pursuit of fairness? How will you apply the profound ideas of Dharma, of Rawls, and of Sen in your own daily life? Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey through the concept of justice. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.